Okay, cheers. I hope everyone's doing well. Um, this is a live stream of me figuring out how to make my camera work. Let me see if I can get my camera working here. Hopefully it pops back up here. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this is a live stream of me, and I'm streaming this on Twitch, LinkedIn Live, and YouTube. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the Advent of Code for 2020. I'm going to do day one of Advent of Code. So you can see I've got a directory here. I'll just make dir day one, and I'll cd into day one. And let's read it. I haven't even seen what it is this year. So let's just go pop it open here. So here's Advent of Code. And let's, hopefully you can see this. It's a little dark. Maybe bump up the font a little bit. Okay, I'm going to log in here. And I'll log in through Google. Let me just do that. Okay, it looks like I'm logged in. On the side here, it looks like Google or GitHub is hiring, in case you want to know. So there you go. Okay, here's the first one. I'll just read through it. I haven't read through this before. So after saving Christmas 5 years in a row, you've decided to take a vacation to a nice resort on a tropical island. Surely Christmas will go on without you. The tropical island has its own currency and is entirely cash only. Interesting. Sounds like some San Francisco eateries I know of. The gold coins used here have a little picture of a starfish. The locals call them stars. None of the currency exchanges seem to have heard of them, but somehow you need to find 50 of these coins by the time you arrive so you can pay the deposit on your room. To save your vacation, you need to get all 50 stars by December 25th. Okay, well, no guarantee that I'm going to get all the stars, but let's see. Collect the stars by solving puzzles. 2 puzzles will be available on each day. The second puzzle is unlocked when you complete the first. Each puzzle grants 1 star. Good luck. Before you leave, the elves in accounting need you to fix your expense report, your price input. Apparently something is adding up. Specifically, you need to find 2 entries that sum to 220 and then multiply those 2 numbers together. Suppose your expense report contained the following. In this list, the 2 entries that sum to 220 are 117 and 299. Multiplying them together gives you a number, so that's the correct answer. Of course, your expense report is much longer. Find the 2 entries that sum to 220, and what do you do if you multiply them together? Okay, let's do this. Sounds good. So I'm going to open this up. I'll use Emacs today. If I do other ones of these, maybe I'll use different editors here. So here is the day1.py. I'm going to solve it in Python. So I'll pull over Emacs over here, and let's just live code this. So if anyone's watching this, feel free to put your comments in. I should be able to see your comments and adjust them, but I'm going to be using Emacs today to solve this one. Let's just write a little function here. So I'm going to say def, and it's a function that given a list of 2 numbers, finds those that given a list of numbers, finds those that add up to some other number. So I'm going to say get nums that sum to. And it's going to take a sequence, and those need to, the sum result of those should be 2020. I'm just going to hard code that or set a default variable there, and then maybe, if you wanted to change this, you could. And I'll write a little doc string here. So this function takes a sequence of numbers finds two that sum to some result and returns them. Okay, and so let's just let's just write a little test here. So maybe I'll say 2020 and 10 and 0, and I want this to return the tuple 2020 and 0. Okay, so let's think about how I might do this. Well, I've got to loop over all of the numbers, and then I probably have to do another loop inside of that. And so we're going to have like an n squared problem here. So I'm just going to do 2 loops. And as soon as I find a result that matches that, I will return a tuple with those 2 values in it. So I'll just do this for now. I'm not sure if you can do, let's see here. I'm assuming the 2 entries have to be distinct. So how do I keep track of whether they're distinct? I mean, it might be that I have 2 numbers in there, like 110 and or 1010, 2 times. But if I only have it once, I don't want to catch it the one time. So what I'm going to do, rather than keeping track of the individual value, I'll keep track of the index position, and I'll skip index positions that are the same. So I'm going to leverage the enumerate function in Python to do this. I'll say for I, and then val in enumerate, and I'm going to enumerate the sequence, and then I'm going to basically do that loop down here, but instead of I, I'm going to say j. I and j are typically numbers that we use when we're doing looping over indexes. So those have specific meaning to most programmers, and they're used in for loops for looping over index values. If you're not familiar with the enumerate function, that's a nice function in Python that when you loop over something, normally in Python you loop over the items in whatever you're looping over. You don't loop over the index positions, but if you wanted the index position, you can use enumerate to get the index position and the item in a tuple, and then we just unpack those. So I'm going to say if I is j, then we'll just continue. Continue is a keyword in Python that goes to the next item of iteration there. And then I'm going to say if val plus val2 equals some result, then I'll just return val comma val2. Okay, so this is my little function here. I think this works. Now, one thing I like to do is I like to, if I can, it looks like Emacs is frozen up on me. I'm not quite sure why. Okay. So I'm running Emacs on my Windows machine with X410, which seems to do an okay job. Every now and again it like freezes up on me, which is kind of annoying. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, at the bottom here, I'm going to put if dunder name equals the string dunder main. Then I'm going to import doctest and say doctest.test mod. Okay, and then I'll just come over here to my terminal where I was. There's my code here. And I can run this. I'll say Python 3, day 1. Okay, that looks like it worked. Let me just make it so it breaks here. And alternatively, you can put a -v here to make it verbose. Okay, so that's looking like it's okay here. So the behavior here is that if we got to the end of this list and it never met this return value, it's going to return none. We could put an else at the bottom of this and raise an exception if we want to, but I'm just going to leave this as is. I think this is okay. And let's see. So to begin, get your puzzle input. So here's our puzzle input. This is it. I'm going to save this as so I'll put this in my temp directory, and I'm going to copy temp input here. Okay, so now we've got our input. Let's make this so it will read a file. So I need to put some wrapper around it. I also need the sum here. I'll just make a little main function, def main, and we'll pass in the command line arguments to it. Yeah, my Emacs is not having a good day today. Okay, I'm going to import sys. That gives me access to the command line arguments down here. I wonder if it's this. I wonder if my this has messed me up today. I'm going to just pause this for a minute. Okay. So here is our main function, and I'm going to, from the args, which is going to be the command line arguments, I'm going to say that my file name is equal to args minus 1. I'm going to assume that they passed in the command line on the file name. I could use argparse or something, but I'll just be lazy here. Then I'm going to say so it's get nums that sum to is my function name. So I'm going to say res equals get nums that sum to, and I'm going to open fname, and that should give me a list of the lines there. What I need is to convert these to integers here. So I'm just going to say let's take int x.strip, and I'll actually say line.strip for line in open. So this is going to give me a generator, and I don't want a generator because I'm reading over it twice. So this is using a gener expression. I'm going to use a list comprehension here. Okay, and what I'll do I will print, so we want to multiply those two together. And so we'll do a reduce. So reduce is not in the Python standard library anymore. It's in, where is it? Functools? Where is reduce? Import, let's see. Yeah, functools. Some functools. Import. Well, I don't need to do it here. I'll just do it over here. So it's in functools. So what I'm going to do is say functools. Jeez, I am my keyboard or Emacs is just not happy today. It's like going crazy. Functools dot reduce, and we'll reduce res, and we'll do operator dot mul. So there's some functional programming in there. So I'm going to import functools and operator. Okay, so let's see if this works now. I'm going to say main sys.arg v -1. Maybe I need to restart my X server. It is just not keeping up today. Not quite sure. Okay, Python 3 day 1, and then we'll do input. Okay, and I got an error here. No file found. Oh, I'm passing in that. I don't need to pass. Let's just pass in that. Okay, reduce arg2, function arg2. So I think I've got these in the wrong order here. We have this reduction function, and then we have the sequence that we're applying it to. arg2 must support iteration. Okay, so I've got a problem here. So how would I debug this? Well, I'll use. I'm going to just use the breakpoint function in Python. So let's try that. Breakpoint and push it back up the hill. Breakpoint, which Python am I using? 3.6, so it needs to be Python 3.7 for breakpoint. So, okay, I'll do old school instead of breakpoint. Import pdb.set trace. Okay, let's print res. And let's look at the documentation for functools reduce. Help functools.reduce. No documentation for that. That's lovely. Functools.reduce. Built-in function. Oh, that's the help. Yeah, this is the PDB help. So let's try this. Functools.reduce. Let's look at the Dunder doc here. Okay, it takes a function and then a sequence and applies the function to the sequence. So I should be able to take this operator.mul, and I should be able to say apply 2 and 2 here. Okay, that works. And my res, that should work. I'm confused. Reduce takes a function and applies the function of 2 arguments cumulatively to the items in the sequence from left to right so that they reduce. So I mean, I should be able to do something like this. Functools.reduce, following their example up here, I could say lambda x comma y and then return x star y. I'm just being stubborn now. I mean, I can multiply these two numbers together, but I got to do it with my reduction here. And then I'm going to do that on res. Okay, so that worked. So my question is, why doesn't this lambda here should be operator.mol? And that does work. Okay. Maybe I didn't save it? Maybe that's my problem. Okay, so there is the answer to the first solution there. 1,016,131. Awesome. Okay, cool. So this was my attempt at going through this. I'd be interested to see what you did, if you did something different than this. I think this is an okay solution. I mean, I did sort of hard code the command line interaction here at the end, but we've got a little test here that I evaluated that it worked, and this did give us the right answer. We also demoed using a list comprehension to convert everything in that file from a single line to a numeric number, and then we called our getnums that summed 2 with that. Okay, so I will end the broadcast here. Hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, leave a comment and let me know.